I'm going to share with you the top 5 reasons that I have seen professional women struggle with communicating confidently in the workplace, in their businesses, and etc. If you have experienced any of these reasons, put them in the comments below so we can talk about them. I'm going to go rapid fire on these. Number 1, they were not taught how to communicate confidently. Number 2, they do not believe in themselves. Number 3, the upbringing did not support them expressing themselves as women. Number 4, something happened in their past that decreased their confidence and they are still dealing with it. Number 5, they are not comfortable in their own voice and they're really worried about how they sound in front of people. Now, if you have experienced any of these reasons or you are tired of missing opportunities because you're not communicating confidently, sign up for the communication skills audit in the description below. Hello, everyone. Hello, women in leadership. I hope you are doing well today. Are you ready for 2025? Are you ready? Are you ready? Well, guess what? By the end of this video today, of this planning session that we have for 2025, you will be ready. You will have some type of roadmap, some type of plan in place to accomplish the goals that you want to have accomplished by 2025. And so the purpose of this is to do really a planning session. We're going to work together. I'm actually going to work together with you also because I need to get things ready for 2025. And I found that a lot of times people will wait until January 1, right? They'll wait until New Year's to come up with their resolutions or things they want to have planned. But I have found that women in leadership that are the women that I work with, that are the high achievers, the ones that are doing a lot of wonderful things in their lives, are at a place where they are planning ahead. And that's a huge part of working with an executive coach, is planning ahead. So by the end of this session, we're going to have a couple of things in place to help you be ready for 2025. And plus, we're going to also have a live Q&A session as well at the end where we could talk about any questions that you have as it relates to confidence and establishing your executive presence so we can start you on the right foot for 2025. Okay, are you all ready? Let me know. I am live streaming on a couple platforms. This is actually my first time doing this on all 3 platforms. So if you have any questions for me, just let me know. I hope everybody can see me. And if you're watching the replay, thank you for watching it. And thank you for joining right now so that I can help you on your journey. Now, if you have any comments or questions, leave them in the chat below. I'm going to go ahead and get started with our planning session. So there's a couple questions that I want you to answer as it relates to planning for 2025. So make sure you got a pen, okay? Make sure you got a notebook, got something to write with. I have a notebook over here too. And let's work on it together. Let's figure out what we're going to be able to work on today. So for 2025, the goal really is to develop a plan. Like, what is the plan for 2025? And the first question that I want you to ask yourself as it relates to 2025 is, where do you want to be professionally by the end of 2025? Where do you want to be? So take a moment. I'll give you a few moments to write those things down. I would highlight probably one to three goals. I wouldn't go any higher than that, because I found a lot of times, at the beginning of the year or when we're planning for the upcoming year, there's usually we have a lot of goals that we want to do, right? And I used to do this too. I found that I would list out at least 20 things, right? I want to do for 2025 or whatever year it was, and I would not accomplish them. So let's just work on 1 to 3 goals that you want to have accomplished, or basically, where do you see yourself professionally by the end of 2025. And I appreciate everybody for joining. Hello, thank you for joining. We're going through our first planning session question to get ready for 2025 as a woman in leadership. So go ahead and answer that question. I'll give you just a few moments to write it down. As I mentioned, I'm writing my responses down too, so I can get ready also. Okay, so we'll take a moment and just write those things down. Okay. Do you all have your three goals down or where you want to be professionally by the end of 2025? If you want to put your responses in the comments, you're welcome to do that. If you want to keep them privately to yourself, you can do that as well. But this is a great place for us to get started as it relates to planning for 2025. Okay, so now that we have where we want to be, we have the big picture. Where is the end place for us? Now that we have that, so let's really start working on what is it specifically that we need for us to get there. So, my next question for you to answer would be the following: what skills, resources, support do you need in order for you to get to where you want to be professionally at the end of 2025? So write a couple things down. I'll give you a moment, and as I mentioned, I'm doing my work too to get ready. But write down what do you feel like you need to have in place to get you to the goal where you want to be at the end of 2025. So I'll give you a few moments to write down a couple things. As I mentioned, this is an opportunity to have some quiet time to really start planning for your 2025 goals. All right, let's go ahead and write and get started. Okay. All right. So, what are some things that you all thought about? So, as I mentioned, you're welcome to put those in the comments, or if you want to write them down privately, that's fine. But this is a great exercise for you to be able to get yourself ready for 2025. All right, so now we have where we want to be professionally by the end of 2025 as women in leadership. We have a couple of goals, 1 to 3 goals that we have. And then, second, we have our skills, resources, support that we need to get us there by the end of 2025. Now, the third question I have for you is a big one. So, we're going to spend a little bit more time on this question because it takes a lot more time to go through this one because you have to really think about it. So, the next question would be: what challenges or obstacles might you face that may prevent you from being able to accomplish your goals by the end of 2025? A lot of times in a coaching session, we really want to dive deep. And this is a question to help you dive deep, even though we're not necessarily in a situation where you have a lot of things going on and you're just not sure what to say. A lot of times you just need to really start thinking and self-reflecting, and it'll give you some more insight in terms of what you need to do. So think about what could be holding you back. What are some things that may hold you back from being able to accomplish your goals by 2025? The reason we're going through this question is because we want to develop a plan to tackle those obstacles before we get into 2025, so that when you are in 2025, you're already in a very good place to where you can go ahead and get some movement made on your goals. So take a few moments to answer this question. This is a big one. We got to think about what could potentially hold us back, and then we'll start thinking out options of how we can prevent that from happening. So I'll give you a few moments just to write your responses here, and then we'll circle back around and we'll go through the next couple of questions to get you ready for 2025. All right, here we go. Okay. All right. Well, I hope that was helpful to you. What are some things that came up for you? What are some challenges that you may have faced or may end up facing as you're trying to accomplish your 2025 goals? Write those down. Try your best to kind of develop action plans to start addressing those now in 2024 so that when you start 2025 you are in a good place to get ready to go. And this is what coaching is all about. Coaching is about helping you to create a positive experience and to move forward with your goals, which is the reason why I want to do this planning exercise with the women in my audience. So I appreciate you all for joining and for taking part and getting ready for 2025. All right, so now we have a couple of things in place, right? We have our goals, we have what do we need to get there, what are some challenges that we might face. We need to start thinking about how we can overcome them. But another thing that I would like to do in this planning session is to really break it down by quarters. So when you think about the end of 2025, so we're thinking about December 31st of 2025, we have this vision in mind of where we want to be as women in leadership. Now, let's be more specific as it relates to how exactly we're going to get there. So we're going to have quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four. And if you're not familiar with the quarters, which most of you probably are, but if not, the quarters are broken up into 3 months. So let's say quarter one is going to be January, February, March, and then so on for the rest of the year. So in quarter one, what exactly do you need to start working on to get you where you want to be professionally at the end of 2025? So we're going to take just a moment to write down what we might need to do in quarter one so that we can start developing our action plan. Keep in mind some of those skills and resources that you may need and some of the obstacles that you may face also. Keep those in mind because we'll need to kind of put things together for 2025 so that we can get things in line for you. So take a few moments. What do you need to do in quarter one to get you to where you want to be in 2025? All right, we'll take a moment and write them down. Okay. All right. So I have what I've written down for 2025 in terms of quarter one, what I need to do to get to me to where I want to be at the end of the year. And so let's go into quarter two. So what I'd like to do is let's say everything went well, excuse me, in quarter one for you. So then what else would you need to do in quarter two to help you get to where you need to be professionally at the end of 2025 if all goes well in quarter one? So take just a moment to write those down and I'll provide you with some time to do that. So I'm writing too, as I mentioned, I'm working with you ladies also today because I have to get things together for myself as well. So write down what you need to complete in quarter two and we'll get started on quarter three in just a few moments. Okay. All right. So we got quarter two. Now we have quarter three. So if all goes well, what else do you need to work on in quarter three that can help you to reach your goals professionally by the end of 2025? So write down quarter three. What do you need to do? We'll take a few moments to do that. Okay. All right. So I have quarter three in place, some things that need to be accomplished or need to be working on in that quarter three. So now we're at the end. So now that we have everything together, we're at the very end of 2025 in terms of quarter four. What are the final steps that need to be accomplished or things you need to work on to get you to where you need to be by the end of 2025? So just write a couple of those down. And then after that, we'll go through a couple of options. Okay. All right. Write those down and then we'll go through a few other things. And then we have our live Q&A also. All right. And for those of you who are joining, this is a planning session for Women in Leadership for 2025. The purpose of this is to help you get ready for 2025 in advance and not wait until January the 1st of 2025. I found that a lot of clients do very well when they are at a place where they already have a plan ahead of time instead of waiting till the last minute. So that's what we're doing. For those of you who just joined, welcome. Glad to see you. And we're working actually on quarter four. So after the video is finished, you may want to take a look at the replay so you can go back to the very beginning of our planning session and then catch up with us here in quarter four and be able to go through the exercise so it can help you plan for 2025. So go ahead and write down what you need to have accomplished in quarter four to get you where you need to be at the end of 2025. Okay, so we'll take a few months to write those down. Okay, all righty. Well, how do you ladies feel? Do you feel like at least we're getting something together for you in terms of your planning for this upcoming year? I hope so. I really do. I really just appreciate your time for going through this process with me. As I mentioned, I went through it too. I just realized that I needed to go ahead and do this now. I usually try to do this ahead of time. I don't like waiting until January to plan. As many of you know, as in a coaching setting, we do try to get things planned in advance. And so I hope that this exercise has been helpful to you, for you to start at least thinking of what you need to do, what skills do you need to have, what challenges you may face, what are some obstacles that may end up coming up for you as you are planning for 2025 to get you where you want to be. It is a goal. It is something that you want to target and get as much help as you can on them. So I just really appreciate everybody's insights and you watching the replay. And I hope that this helps you to get started on your goals so that you can have an amazing 2025. So I promised you that I would do questions and answers as it relates to confidence and executive presence. I did get 2 questions offline that I'm going to go ahead and go through right now to help you with your confidence and executive presence. My goal is really to provide you with as much value as possible. I hope that this planning session has been very helpful for you, but now I want to even give you more support as it relates to getting yourself ready to be more confident and have a really strong executive presence for 2025. So the question that I was asked was, how can you display, let me get the question real quick. Okay. How can you display your confidence in any situation? So there's a couple things that I would recommend when you are trying to display confidence in any situation. It takes a while to build up your confidence. And so the first step really to have confidence in any situation, ladies, is to develop a very high level of self-esteem. This is the fundamental thing that you're going to need to have in order to have confidence in every situation, because there's situations that are going to come up that will take your confidence away and make you feel like you just, I don't know what you're doing. But when you have a very heightened sense of self-esteem and you think very highly of yourself, then regardless of the situation that you encounter, you're always going to feel very good about it. And so that's a great way to get started. The second tip I would give to this person that asked this question is to gain some more insight in terms of your knowledge base. Confidence, a lot of times people don't feel confident because there is a certain amount of knowledge, there's a certain amount of experiences that they just don't have. And so that tends to impact how they feel about themselves. So if you can start to develop your confidence in a way to where you have a high self-esteem about yourself, you're working on your knowledge base. So if there's something that you don't know how to do, then learn about it. Take a few moments out of your day and advance your skill set and learn as much as you can about a specific topic so that it will help you on your journey to get you where you need to be. And my third tip to help you display confidence in any situation, ladies, any situation, this can happen, is to be able to develop some level of public speaking skills. Now, I've talked about this on several videos on my channel, and a lot of people tend to think that public speaking skills are only used for politicians or for individuals that are doing a presentation or speaking to a large group of public. That's not the case. You need public speaking skills in your everyday conversations that you have in your professional setting, your personal setting, any setting that you have. And so a lot of times I've noticed with clients that they don't feel confident because they don't know what to say or they're not sure how to say it. So if you develop some basic fundamentals of public speaking, at least to the point where you feel comfortable speaking in front of people, that will help you to display confidence in any situation, because you may have a situation come up where you're completely just not confident. You don't know what to do, but it's all in the matter of how you say what you need to say to help you become more confident. So if you want some additional support with this, then just please let me know. I'm here to help you on your journey with that, because speaking is something that I do with a lot of my clients to help them prepare. I have a coaching program called the Confidence Game Plan, which goes into a lot of detail to help you to become more confident, speak better, and develop your executive presence. So if it's something that you're interested in, just reach out to me at info@exciteexcellence.org, or you can DM me on any of the platforms that I am on right now, and just reach out to me and I'll be able to help you on your journey. Okay, so that's the question about how can you show confidence in any situation. So how can you show confidence in any situation? For a recap, that would be to, one, develop a high level of self-esteem for yourself. Number two would be to expand your knowledge base. And third and finally would be to develop some level of public speaking skills. So those traits will help you be able to have confidence in any situation that you will encounter. Now, the other question I had asked was about executive presence. And so the question was, how do you develop an executive presence? So before I answer that, I do have several videos on my YouTube channel that talk about executive presence, what you may be doing if you're struggling with it. There's several shorts on it, but I'll give you just a very brief overview in terms of how to develop your executive presence as a woman in leadership. So the first question I always ask is, how do you want to be perceived by other people, because that helps to develop the type of executive presence that you want to have. Just depends on how you want to be perceived by everyone. The second aspect of developing your executive presence is to be consistent, because consistency is extremely important. If you're not consistent, your executive presence will go out the window, and we don't want that. Consistency is really important. People have to see the same consistent person all of the time, that acts the same way all of the time, unless there's a situation that comes up where you need to act a bit differently to show your executive presence. So those are great tips to help you get started for developing your executive presence. And then finally, sometimes you're going to need to know when you need to say something and when you do not need to say something. And sometimes situations may come up where literally, ladies, it's not worth your time. It's not worth your time. It's not worth an ounce of your energy to even speak on something that is so ridiculous, depending on what it is. And those are times where you really have to use your intuition, and then just lean on experiences of other individuals. You're welcome to reach out to me and ask me questions if you have any. But there's some times where you just simply don't need to entertain nonsense. It's just not worth your energy. And when you are a woman in leadership and you're trying to accelerate your career growth, you have to understand there's different levels of individuals. And most of the people that are on my channel, that are following me, that are on my email list, that are in my programs, or my clients, are really, they're at another level. Excuse me. They're at another level. And as you rise and as you elevate in your career, in your business, in your profession, there's certain things that you learn that are just simply just not worth your time. They're not worth your energy to get you upset. And so kind of keep those things in mind as you're developing your executive presence. So as a recap, excuse me, the question was, how do you develop your executive presence? The first thing you need to do is to determine how you want to be perceived as in front of other people. Second is to be able to be consistent in terms of how you are projecting yourself to others. Really control your emotions. Get things together on your end so they see the same person every day. And third is to recognize there's times when you simply just don't need to even waste your time with certain aspects or certain things or certain people that are going to just irritate you. Sometimes it's not worth it. Your executive presence doesn't need that. You have bigger things that you're working on. Anybody have any questions? I hope that this session has been helpful for you. It's been about a half hour. This is probably one of my longer videos, but this is a planning session. I do want to be able to help you all with getting your goals accomplished as we are planning for 2025 as women in leadership. As I mentioned before, if you're in a place where you're really wanting to elevate your skills, then reach out to me. Let me know. I want to be able to help you on your journey. I have some really great programs. I have the Confidence Game Plan, which, excuse me, is a program that will be able to really help you enhance your confidence to the next level and even higher. I help you with developing your executive presence and helping you be able to speak better as well. So it's a great program I have to offer for you. I also have a communication skills audit as well that can help you to get a very deep analysis of your communication skills, how you're communicating. All of these are on my website in terms of resources. If you need any help with anything at all, ladies, just reach out to me. Let me know. I'll be able to support you any way that I can on your journey. And if you have any questions in the replay, just put them in the comments. I will respond to them and answer them for you. But I hope that you're able to start planning your 2025 based off of our workshop that we had today. And if you have any other questions for me, you just reach out and let me know. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. And I appreciate you so much for your time. And I hope you have an amazing 2025 and get things going planning wise. And I hope y'all have a great day. Bye for now.